Good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to start us off. So we had case 3, which was product design at McDonald's, standardization versus localization. So basically, McDonald's needs no introduction because everyone kind of knows what McDonald's is. They have, they're a multinational company with thousands of restaurants over hundreds of countries over 6 continents. And what a lot of people don't consider when they take into consideration McDonald's success within all of these different countries is how they've managed to become dominant in different environments and different cultures when they're so, these cultures are so diverse and different from one another. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about for the bulk of our presentation, is how McDonald's has managed to master the balance between standardization and localization between different local cultures and customs. So we wanted to start off by showing you guys this video. It's basically just going to be like 5 advertisements from 5 different countries, but they're all McDonald's ads. So I'm going to play it and just want you guys to keep in mind like the similarities and differences between the different ads, and let me know if the audio doesn't work on it.
Where can you find a burger inspired by flavors from near and far that mixes the smoky with the sass of the South? Combines the sweetness of summer with the tang of the country for savory, sizzling, unexpected flavors. Well, you can find it at McDonald's. The new Bacon Smokehouse Burger. It's the newest flavor of the signature crafted recipes by McDonald's.
让对话更有温度。McCafe。
Baby kofta, chicken, crispy.
Old traditions, new choices. Enjoy it all as McDonald's brings you a delicious selection of the Macarabia, made with authentic Arabic flavors. Macarabia, true to tradition.
Kør forbi vores McDrive på vej til arbejde, eller hvis du ikke kan nå at handle, kom når du ikke kan falde i søvn. Når du har lidt ondt i håret. Hvis du lige har fået kørekort, efter en lang dag i haven. Kom forbi, når vi har vundet. Eller hvis dommeren var en nar. Når ungerne skal forkæles, og når du skal forkæles. Eller kom forbi McDrive, når det hele bare skal gå lidt hurtigere. Vi er nemlig åbent fra 7 til 1, og nogle restauranter længere end det.
How spicy is McSpicy?
Pani.
Wow.
Mama. Papa.
Need a bug.
मैकडॉनल्ड्स का नया मैक स्पाइसी पनीर जिसमें बड़े प्यार से अंदर तक घुले स्पाइसेस के बस मजा आ जाए।
Okay.
तो चलो खाना खाते हैं। मैकडॉनल्ड्स का नया राइस बोल।
Okay, so then just what kinds of similarities and differences did you see between the ads of like the different countries, like how they were presented in each country? And then why do you think that these differences are there?
So I think the similarities were that like the McDonald's like itself has stayed the same. Like they still have their French fries and all, but all their different like the signature meals and different meals are different, and they're tailored to the countries. I thought that was really neat. And also they have the different values of the people that live in the country that are more, I think like in America, it's like kind of mixed up. So they just have a generic commercial, where in different countries, they're able to like tailor it more to that area.
Okay, perfect. So exactly. And then does anyone else also have like anything else they want to add to that before we get into other stuff?
Yeah, I think all the go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Just really quick. I remember looking at the websites of McDonald's from different countries, and so like the American website back when this was a thing, it was like fries with cheese and bacon on it was the main thing they had on the website when you first went on. But then McDonald's India had a Happy Meal toy box that was like dressed up as a scientist, and had a whole thing going on with like the Science Channel. So it's just amazing that like the Americans really focused on the cheese bacon fries, whereas the Indian one was all about science and academia.
Yeah, that was one of the differences I saw too, that just like he said, there was different prioritization to products. Also, there are different products, since I've lived my entire life in India. So I miss the McDonald's there. There's just so many options with more seasoning on it. Like even you can order fries with the seasoning and they'll give you a bag to shake the fries in it. Like that is something that I did not find it in Dubai or in US. So there's like certain products which are specifically made for that consumer market in that particular nation. And that's something that I found that's different between what I experienced back in India and what I saw over here.
Okay, perfect. So that's kind of like a nice segue into like the next topic that we're going to talk about. So you guys kind of hit the nail on the head with like why there's like similarities and differences between it. So the main thing that McDonald's has focused on is developing this entire concept of glocalization, which is them being able to combine global standards adopted by McDonald's, but still bringing in like a certain degree of localization to the individual restaurants within the specific countries. So this allows the company to follow these like certain global standards across all of their restaurants, but its strength is really bringing in, like you said, like those local flavors and different types of things, like depending on the cultures and values that the country where the restaurant has. And so this kind of just means that in the context of McDonald's operations, they're able to alter their business strategy to be the most successful among various different target markets, while also having standards that they can follow to make sure that McDonald's still remains the same or similar across the globe. So then I think this one was going onto Rocco, right?
Yeah, you got it. All right, so let's dial in a little bit closer. Let's take a look at India, which is what our case was actually focusing on, McDonald's expansion into India. So in order to meet the needs of local customers in India, McDonald's needed to introduce different menu items than in any other country they have operated before. In India, most people do not eat beef or pork products due to the prevalence of a large, diverse group of religions, namely Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Islam, Christianity. It's a very diverse country when it comes to religious beliefs and value systems. And these religious beliefs and customs play a significant role in the customer's preference for food and dining. Therefore, the company made the decision to create completely new items in order to accommodate for consumers' needs, like those you see on this slide. Beef being an integral part of menu for McDonald's in the West, it was very difficult for McDonald's to formulate a menu without beef in India. vegetarian products, even the mayonnaise and vegetable burgers, were eggless and 100% vegetarian. To adapt to these cultural differences between religions, McDonald's classified cooking tools and plays for vegetarian and non-vegetarian sections. Bringing this back to Arcor's operations management, they actually broke up employees and equipment based off of what products they were affiliated in order to make sure there's a succinct and systematic approach in having no overlap between meat and vegetarian products. McDonald's also used local spices and chilies to develop special sauces. McDonald's considered this concept their Global Act Local, aka Glocalization, which was adopted by the company to customize their market strategies based on cultural, economic, and socio-political factors in India. They also altered pricing ranges in India based on consumer needs. They would rank items on a scale from cheaper to more expensive in order to place values on the items. So that way the consumers in India, which is lower class, lower income nation relative to America, so that way consumers could select their options at McDonald's based off of what they felt comfortable with spending. This is all amazing and this is all great how they fine-tuned McDonald's for India, but does anybody see any potential problems with this for McDonald's as a brand? Not in India or America, but globally. How would this impact McDonald's brand? There are no wrong answers if anybody wants to throw something out there.
Could you just repeat that? I think your voice was cutting off a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. What I asked was, does anybody see any potential problems with this for McDonald's as a brand globally? If they keep changing their menus and they keep changing their items and their processes, is there any sort of problems that can arise based off of this?
I think a quality problem might arise because if you're selling the same similar product throughout the time of not introducing new products, you're kind of perfecting the method of that product or the recipe, and you're kind of creating a standard for your franchise. You feel me? But if you're introducing new products, and if the new products fail, that indeed can affect the franchise's reputation and as a whole.
That's a great point. So you're saying since McDonald's is introducing so many new products every time they go into a new country or territory, and what happens if these products aren't up to snuff? Like, does that hurt McDonald's brand? That's a great point. Anybody else?
I'm wondering. Oh, go ahead.
You could go.
I'm wondering if this would establish expectations for consumers traveling around the world. So if you're somebody who's, say, from the United States and are used to like the American menu, and then you visit a Starbucks in, say, Korea, you may be getting a little bit of a different experience, or if you just go somewhere in the Middle East. And so you may be expecting your burger to taste a certain way, and then you're disappointed by what you find there because you're used to McDonald's meaning certain thing.
Yeah, continuity issues. It's a great point.
I actually agree with that because I don't think they sell hamburgers in the Indian McDonald's.
Yeah,
that's
sell
kind of a big thing, yeah. Because McDonald's is known for hamburgers, but they don't sell them.
Yeah, they sell vegetarian burgers with curry. It's completely different. Really interesting. Anybody else?
That's something like what I was going to say with all the different things. I think McDonald's should also have like a standard of like, instead of just different menus everywhere they go, they should have a certain thing and then have something else. Like even in the United States, they should kind of rotate like a part of the menu. So it's all different countries' foods as well. So people that are moving and going back and forth are still able to get something of what they're used to seeing at a McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point too. But then something like that creates like more problems. Like how do you control a supply chain if you're shifting through your product line so quickly and so drastically? So, McDonald's addressed all of these issues, and it's really interesting how they handled it. So this was the biggest obstacle for McDonald's. And you guys all made great points, and a lot of them contribute to this. But this is what you guys said boiled down. How does McDonald's still be McDonald's if they are changing this much? Like, they're not even serving the same food. Is it even fair to call them McDonald's? Like, what is the continuity? What is the change? How does McDonald's maintain the global identity when they're shifting product lines? And because they shift product lines, how can they tie back into products they're starting to America, which is where they started? Can they do that based off of their resources and supply chains that they manage? These are all things that we're going to continue to discuss. So going back, McDonald's maintains their identity at the global level. We're going to look at QSCV, which is kind of like McDonald's version of the QPIC. This is what they explicitly follow according to McDonald's themselves. So McDonald's is still McDonald's no matter what is on their menu. This is because they hold each of their restaurants across the globe to the same managerial standards. So although their menus may be shifting, McDonald's atmosphere, their employee system, their how they treat customers, their cleanliness, these are all points that are still maintained. So the first one is quality. So McDonald's is innovative in the food supply chain, which mutually benefits the farmers and the customers. Okay, so in India, they actually communicated with local farmers in order to get local ingredients involved in their products. So the farmers were able to get the best price for the produce, and intermediaries in between were eliminated. So they went directly from farmer to McDonald's. So there was no middleman. This helps increase control of their supply chain. The customers were able to get fresh products at great value due to the quickness in the supply chain. Due to this operational dominance of their own supply chains, McDonald's produces fresh meals. So through dominating their supply chain relative to each country, they do this in America, India, Bangladesh, etc. McDonald's maintains a certain quality standard. So service, McDonald's has the 1-minute service guarantee. Fast, friendly, accurate service in a restaurant. That's critical for a fast food joint. They guarantee service in 1 minute or less. The Mick-home delivery, drive-through, breakfast menu, and extended hours are all available at these convenience McDonald's locations across the globe. So no matter where you are at McDonald's, you'll get the same consistent, fast, quality service. Cleanliness. McDonald's holds all restaurants to a specific standards of cleanliness. They all have to meet specific regulations that we don't need to go into because it's not relative to our presentation. But just know that McDonald's maintains a certain level of cleanliness in order to reinvigorate this concept that each McDonald's is the same, it's qualitable, serviceable, cleanly, and valuable. So value relative to India. Indian consumers belong to lower and middle class income groups, and McDonald's had to formulate a suitable pricing strategy that can facilitate a high volume of consumers. The customer relates value more to the price, and sometimes a low price product may be considered to be an inferior value product relative to a higher price product. One reason for McDonald's success is due to its clear understanding of the Indian economy. McDonald's has two pricing strategies. One is branded quality, and the other is branded core value products. These pricing strategies help maintain value throughout all their products. Ultimately, it is McDonald's extensive understanding of different countries' economies that make them so incredible at coming to value. So let's get some of your feedback. How well do you guys actually think McDonald's meets these standards we talked about? Because I'm sure everybody here has been to McDonald's. Does what I said make sense? Do you think they actually maintain these standards? Do you think they exceed these standards? Do you think they miss them completely? Anyone? This is literally just like, what do you guys think of McDonald's?
I feel like McDonald's food is never good. But I feel like it's consistently not good to the same level of not good. Like, I'm never satisfied with a meal from McDonald's, but I don't really expect to be either. But I've never really had an experience at McDonald's where I was like, wow, this food is really worse than usual. It's always been just a really consistent level of quality. Again, not good quality, but consistent quality.
Honestly, I completely agree. Like, when I go to McDonald's, I'm just like, this was just McDonald's. Like, it's the same as, like, when I was reading this case, I was like, are they really this qualitable? But I guess when you look at it from fast food perspective, it makes sense.
Yeah, when I go to McDonald's, I'm usually like coming home from work at like midnight, and I don't feel like making myself food. So it's usually my standards are low, and that's where I'm going.
Exactly.
I think McDonald's is pretty good quality for what you're paying. I mean, like high key, like they have little burgers for like $1.19. Like that's the change in the bottom of my car. So if I'm really in a crunch, like that's what I get. And like I think I'm like also a little addicted to those burgers. I don't know. I think it's good, but I was also, my parents like worked all the time as a kid, so I was raised on McDonald's. So it just brings back nostalgia when I'm eating it. I don't know. I think it's okay.
There you go.
I think I actually read about this in a survey or research a couple of years ago, but someone found out the smoothies or the milkshakes at McDonald's have the least amount of calories compared to most other fast food places, which was really a shocking data to find for myself.
That is shocking. I actually didn't know that. Good to know. All right, I'll pass it off to Cassidy.
All right, so McDonald's process, their company educates the customers about the content of every product and allows customers for extensive kitchen tours. Their kitchen is completely transparent. The whole process of frying and the assembly is visible to the consumers. This system was introduced in India, and it was the first for any market of McDonald's. The company has a particular system where a customer can register with the company and they can become a member of the inspection team. So as a member of the inspection team, the customer can view and judge the quality and hygienic standards at McDonald's. They are also expected to check the ingredients used in the food and then submit a report. The company takes the valuable feedback from the customers and brings in necessary changes and makes the changes like really quickly. The assembly line eliminates unnecessary processes, and each task is simplified to ensure value addition throughout. The diagram on this slide is an example of a McDonald's burger assembly line in the United States, having a specific process employees are expected to follow in order to maintain standards with every order. This process would be slightly altered depending on the different menu items offered in different countries, but the main point is to ensure that all of the products coming from a McDonald's in any given country are meeting the quality standards and being prepared with the same process for each order. So McDonald's has lean manufacturing, which is also called just-in-time inventory. Just-in-time inventory focuses on meeting the demand instantaneously with the perfect quality and no waste. It does not have any overstocking or overproduction. And lean manufacturing can also lower inventory costs, which is a huge benefit. FIFO, which is first in, first out, relates to the products, and it ensures that the customer always gets fresh food. McDonald's offers consistent values across all of their locations globally through their QSCV standards that we mentioned earlier, so that all the customers across the world have positive experiences. They alter their capacity in terms of what items they keep on hand depending on the values of the country of operation. By not offering products that people in the country are less likely to purchase because of cultural or religious reasons, the company is saving time, money, and space because they do not need to keep items that are likely not going to be sold on hand and can focus on providing high quality products that people will actually buy. They ensure that customers will be satisfied with the speed of operations and the friendly atmosphere at any McDonald's location, regardless of where it is located. So the main idea of McDonald's is glocalization is key. So another question for the class, do you think this strategy has worked effectively for McDonald's as a brand?
I don't know if I'm allowed to answer because like I did it with you guys. I think it overall just has, just because like we kind of discussed through the whole presentation, just kind of like they've managed to balance like being able to standardize things across the world along with like putting as many like individual local things in practice as possible. So I think that if they want to be able to maintain an overall brand image while also being able to be like approachable by different countries, they kind of have to play in the middle field like they've been doing. So I think it's been really successful for them.
Anyone else have any thoughts?
I'm gonna say yes, that it has worked effectively, efficiently. Just based on this presentation and my prior knowledge, which isn't much, but I mean everything Dean pointed out has just shown how well it's worked. Yeah, I think it's a global brand that needs to make their offerings localized. I mean, you can't offer a Big Mac to every market. Not everybody's going to want that. You're going to need to have different needs. So, yes.
Yeah, so even as you had said, like you don't love McDonald's and you don't love their food, and I feel the same way, but you have to admit like their strategy is like it works. So we said that they have mastered the balancing act of standardization versus localization through ensuring certain standards are met at every restaurant, regardless of where it is located in the world, but also putting local flavors and customs into the products that they offer to the customers. So you know that they're always keeping the customers in mind and they're not just trying to like sell their food and they don't care how it's put out. They are putting like time, money, and effort into giving the customers what they really want wherever it's located. So this has been very effective for the company as they have been able to maintain a consistent brand image across the globe while offering diverse products that are unique to specific needs of various countries.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. And our, glocalization, one word remains in my heart. So that's good. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and I will see you next week. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good one.